Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Before jumping any further into today's video, be sure to click that subscribe button. We are trying to reach 5K. That is the next goal for this channel. I would love to hit it by the end of the year, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post videos 3 times a week, so there is always new content to watch. Today, we are going to be talking about a topic that I am especially passionate about considering the year that we have all been put through, and that is self-care. Now, I have always been somebody who definitely believes that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself before you take care of somebody else or anything else going on in your life. You have to make sure that you are being taken care of mentally, physically, emotionally. That's a big one as well. And even though I've always felt this way, I feel like 2019 was like really the year of self-care. Literally everybody was mentioning it. And while on one hand, I love that self-care is becoming more of a priority because it really does show that it's okay to be selfish and take time for yourself every now and again. The problem that I had with all of this self-care talk last year is that self-care was really becoming synonymous with spending money, and that self-care was only for those who had a little bit of extra money in their budget. And while everybody has their own different definition as far as what self-care is, to me it is so much more than a $10 smoothie, retail therapy, an expensive facial. And I really do believe that you shouldn't have to pause your day or pause your routine for self-care. It should be something that you can incorporate into your everyday life. And I mean, sure, there's nothing wrong with like really taking a day to like go all out, have that spa day, treat yourself to a smoothie. But I think in order to make sure that you're always taking care of yourself and really showing yourself that love, you should be able to do things that you can put into your schedule every single day and it doesn't really interrupt your flow. Now more than ever, self-care is so important. I mean, 2020 has put us all through the ringer, and I'm not just talking about the pandemic. I feel like this has just been a crazy year for everybody in so many ways. For me, this has been a really big year of transition and change, a lot of good change, but it's definitely been a lot on my plate at once. But you know, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Some of us, like myself, are still trying to quarantine as much as possible, and so these uncertain times can really wreak havoc on both your mental and physical health. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about some ways that you can practice self-care every single day that you don't necessarily see in the typical YouTube videos. These ideas do not break the bank. And while some of these ideas might not seem like the most luxurious or like pampering ones, I promise you each and every one of these is so important. And to me, I classify all of these as some form of self-care. Self-care isn't expensive, and I really think it's time that more people start realizing that. Self-care does not have to be something that you just like throw your money at for various outings. But I think that that was enough of an intro, so let's get into some of the ways that you can practice self-care that you might not have thought of before. Creating healthy money habits for yourself. There is nothing more sexy than financial stability. Can I get an amen? You guys know I absolutely love talking about finances, money, budgeting here on this channel, and I really do think that having healthy money and spending and saving habits can have such an effect on your mental well-being. I know from personal experience that when I've had months that maybe my spending has been a little bit more out of control, I feel more out of control. To me, there is just such a peace that comes over me when I'm able to look at my bank account and see that I have a reasonable amount of money saved, my credit card is paid off, all of my finances are in order. And especially during these times, if that hasn't shown you how important it is to have some sort of emergency account, then I don't know what will show you that. So if you haven't created a budget for yourself, sit down, make an Excel spreadsheet, and just like get to it. I feel like this creates just such a like peace of mind. And to me, again, healthy money habits is one of the best ways to show yourself that you love yourself. Being comfortable with saying no to things and knowing that it's okay to do so. Now, obviously, during this time, a global pandemic, quarantine, we're not really going out with friends, at least you shouldn't be. And if you're getting together with somebody, it needs to be socially distanced, and I swear, mask up people or else I really don't want you here on my channel. But even in this new time, I've found that I'm being invited to like a ton of Zoom events and internet events, and my schedule still feels just as busy, but in a different way. And if you're somebody who really is like a people pleaser and doesn't want to disappoint anybody, I think that this tip can be incredibly helpful because again, it can really help kind of give you that peace of mind and a little bit more time to just relax and do things that bring you the most joy. There really is such power in saying no to things, and also like nobody's gonna fault you for saying no every now and again. This has been a big thing that I've definitely incorporated into my life because, you know, I'm incredibly busy. there's not a lot of time that I can take solely for myself to relax. So when I'm invited to social gatherings or Zoom events, I'll typically pick like 1 or 2 that I really want to participate in, and then the other ones I'll just say no. Basically, just remember that overextending yourself is never the answer. Surrounding yourself with people who truly make you feel your best is one of the best ways to show yourself that you love yourself. And so allowing and understanding that it's okay to let certain relationships go, I think is so incredibly important. I think for some of us, especially those who are closer to my age, are stuck in this mindset that like it's the better or right thing to do to have this huge group of friends. But I'm somebody who would much rather have 3 people who I know are like my ride or dies, that I trust with my life, than like 10 or 15 people that I'm kind of like okay with. I think it's really important to just cut out any sort of like toxic energies or personalities in your life. The world is in such a chaotic state right now that you really don't need any more toxic energy around you. So any friendship or relationship that truly isn't benefiting your life and isn't bringing you joy and isn't making you feel your best, personally, I don't really think is worth investing in. And by eliminating those friendships and relationships that might not be the best for you, you'll thereby have much more time to spend with those who mean the most to you and who make you feel good. Developing healthy sleeping habits. Again, something so sexy, I know. Now, it might not happen every single night. We all have those nights where we stay up a little bit later, but I try my hardest to get at least 8 hours of sleep a night, because I know that without those hours of sleep, the quality of my day drastically changes. I used to be somebody who was like, oh, I don't really need 8 hours of sleep because if I get 4 hours of sleep one night, I wake up and I feel totally fine. Just because you can survive off of 4 hours of sleep doesn't necessarily mean you should. And again, I know that for a lot of people my age, you know, they think like the nightlife is where it's at and like staying out and staying up late is like what matters at this point. But I think listening to your body is even more important. And I really do lean into that. Like I listen to my body hard. If there's a night that I at 7:30 am ready to go to sleep, I will let myself go to sleep at 7:30. And obviously that isn't every single night. Typically I would say I go to bed around like 10:30. But if there's a night that I need to call it, you know, particularly early, even if I still have a few more emails that I should probably send, I will close my computer, put that away until the morning, and just listen to what my body needs. Eating foods that truly fuel your body and make you feel your best on the inside and out. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys what diet or what food regimen to follow, and by diet, I don't mean what comes to mind when you think of a typical diet. I basically mean like your food lifestyle, so paleo, keto, gluten-free. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you which one is best because everybody's body is different. But it is so important to, you know, take pride in the food that you're eating and make sure that it's really fueling you. It's getting you through the day. It's not making you feel sluggish. And learning what foods work best for you takes a long time. It's something that I'm still kind of experimenting with. For me, I try and just follow intuitive eating. You know, I kind of listen to what my body is telling me. I know what foods make me feel my best. And you know, if there's a day that I want to indulge, I let myself do that. And then the next day I kind of go back to my typical eating habits because I know if I did that for days and days and days, I really wouldn't feel good. And I promise you, the second that you stop looking at the ways other people are eating and you simply just look inwards and see what makes you feel your best, it is life-changing. Now, as somebody who works from home, I work for myself full-time, a big way that I kind of like to practice self-care while I'm working is to always have some sort of cozy drink with me to kind of keep me, you know, comforted while I'm working. I'm a big tea lover. I love a chamomile tea. I love an Earl Grey tea. This time of year, love an apple cider or a hot chocolate occasionally. But to me, there's just something, again, so comforting and warm, cozy, loving about a warm drink, and like having one to sip on while I'm working just always puts me in the best mood. This is seriously, for me, it might be different for you guys, but for me this is like a foolproof way to make myself just instantly feel in a better mood, be motivated to work, and just overall like my spirit feels lifted. Never underestimate the power of getting outside and simply just taking a walk. I completely understand everybody has a different schedule and there are gonna be days where you simply don't have time to work out, but I promise you, each and every one of you has time to get out and take a 10 to 15-minute walk. There have definitely been some days, you know, in the last few months that I'm like, why am I feeling like kind of in a funk, like I shouldn't be? And then I realized, oh my God, I haven't gotten outside all day. And so I'll grab my AirPods. I personally love to listen to a podcast while I'm walking. Some of you guys might prefer music or not listening to anything at all, but I'll put my AirPods in, take like a 15-minute walk around my neighborhood, and I swear I instantly feel so much better. Especially during the fall and winter, I'm somebody who thrives in cold weather. I love the chillier seasons. That like really crisp air just hitting your face, there is nothing better. You guys might roll your eyes at this next one because I literally talk about it probably in almost every single one of my videos, but daily or weekly journaling. This is something I swear by. You guys know I am a big believer in daily journaling. I might take like 1 or 2 days off a week if I don't really have anything new to write about, but typically I write in my journal 5 nights a week. It's the last thing I do before I go to bed, and this is just so beneficial for so many reasons. First of all, I'm somebody who, even by the time I'm like getting ready for bed, I still have so many thoughts like swimming around in my head. So by putting pen to paper and writing everything down, I instantly feel so much lighter and ready to sleep. But also, it's just a way to like keep a time capsule, you know, of times in your life and just your life in general. I've been journaling for a really, really long time, but I have definitely been the most consistent I've ever been for about the last year. And it makes me so excited to know that I'm gonna have all of these beautiful notebooks to like look back on when I'm older. There are so many different ways to journal, so for those who are like, oh, journaling really isn't for me, I typically just kind of say, well, that's probably because you haven't found, you know, the journaling format that works best for you. For me, I just kind of do like a stream of consciousness writing in a very simple format, but for other people, you might prefer bullet journaling or a gratitude journal, or even just a 1 line a day journal. And the last idea that I want to mention is getting lost in a fictional novel, because as much as I hate to admit it, it is not all about the nonfiction and self-help books. It's no secret. I love a nonfiction book. I love biographies. I love finance books. Oh my god, the finance books that I could recommend. Oh my gosh, maybe I should dedicate a whole video to that. Needless to say, big nonfiction girl right here. However, I do think that it's really, really important to also find fiction books that you love as well. Especially for those who live such a busy, work-heavy life, I think it's so important to just take the time to occasionally get lost in a fiction book. You know, reading about other realities other than yours that you can't necessarily relate to something directly in your life. I think that that's really, really important. And again, it's also very important to still read nonfiction. Basically, being a well-versed reader, very important thing, especially to me. But during this year in particular, I have definitely just really appreciated the fiction book every now and then and just like getting lost in it. You know, it's a way to unwind that doesn't require screens. And there's nothing wrong with like winding down with a YouTube video. I definitely do that some nights as well. But, you know, in such a digital media heavy age, I think it's really important to also find ways to relax that have nothing to do with technology. And for those who might be sitting here saying, Ruby, I'm just not a big reader, I promise you it's because you haven't found the right author yet. Everybody can be a reader. Everybody has the potential to become a reader. I could seriously make so many videos on this channel about like book recommendations, mini book reviews. If that's something you guys would like to see, actually, let me know in the comments down below. But there you guys have it. Those are all of my ideas for today's video. These are ways that you can practice self-care that you can incorporate into your everyday routine. If you'd like a part 2 to this video, I swear there are so many different ways to practice self-care. It's endless. I could definitely make a part 2 to this, even like a 3, 4, 5. Just tell me what you guys want to see. If you did enjoy this video though, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. I love chatting with you guys, and it's also a way that you can really help my channel grow. So let me know, what are some of your favorite ways to practice self-care? You know, whether it be things that you kind of incorporate in your day-to-day schedule, or when you're taking a day to like fully pamper yourself. What's your way? What's your way of practicing self-care? I want to know. Again, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We are trying to reach 5K by the end of the year. I really do think that there's a chance we could do it. I'm just definitely gonna need your help. And also be sure to follow me on all of my other social media networks, subscribe to my podcast, check out my Amazon storefront. The links are always in the down bar below. And until my next video, I hope you all are staying safe, happy, and healthy, and I will talk to you guys in my next one. Okay? Bye, everybody.